All right, good evening, folks. We're live here with the Cyber Racing Association's Home Now Super Speedway Series. Tonight we are going to be with a number of different things. We're at Talladega. We've just had the largest build in probably 2 years applied. So these guys are running open sets. Everybody has literally had to work on their setup all week long. We've been watching here in practice. It's definitely going to be an interesting race to see who's spent more time getting this truck set up and who hasn't really had the time to be able to do it, seeing how we are pretty much in the middle of the holiday seasons. Tonight, unfortunately, Alan will not be with us in the booth. He's, well, last I knew, he was working on his car, and then he was sexually assaulted by a large elk, so he's down at the police department right now telling the DA where the elk touched him on the doll. So it'll just be me and Mike tonight, but we're going to be set for 100 laps here. We all know how these guys can run Talladega. It's going to be interesting to see what the setups do, if they can still run 3-4 wide around here, whether or not we're going to have an early on caution, or if these guys can throw in some long green flag runs. Looking at the times right now, fastest in practice, we've got the two of Rick Seabrand's with a 49.015, which is an actual identical match with the 99 of Thomas LeBar, who also ran at 49.015, as we saw a truck flying way up in the sky. I think he was going to see R. Kelly or something there, but it's going to be an interesting race. As we're coming up on 5 minutes remaining here in practice, we can see that the trucks are a little bit floaty. Now, some of the key things that came out in the new build, we finally, after 9 years, have animated pit crews. We've got our dirt licenses finally for road and oval. They released the rallycross racing. They changed all the setups for all the cars, new tire build. So literally all these drivers and teams here have had to start from scratch. Every setup that they had for the past 12 weeks is now rendered completely useless. And as they go on, they're going to have to tweak and tune whatever they've got this week for the next 12 weeks until we enter the next off season, where iRacing is probably going to give us some more crappy races to run for week 13. It seems that they always give us some good stuff, like finally our dirt license, so those of us who have been wanting to run dirt can actually do it without affecting our oval. But then they screw us on the racing, like the 410's only at Knoxville, and I mean the rallycross is fun, but it's getting to the point now where it's just a glorified off-road carb cut. People don't really care, and it does count towards your license. So with all that crap aside, Mike, what do you think we're going to see here tonight?
We're going to get one of two things. It's going to be great. Well, you know it's going to be great racing, but you don't know what these setups are doing. You know, if these guys haven't practiced in a big pack racing, it could be, you know, it could be some interesting racing going on tonight. It could be some depth. I always look forward to death, so I'm rooting for it.
We all know the nature of the beast with play track racing, and with the way that these trucks have been, I think the biggest thing that's hurting these trucks now is the way that they changed the aero package on it now. I raced several K&N races, some Xfinity, some truck races throughout the week, and all the vehicles handle completely different now in the draft. These trucks are a lot more pushy. They overheat a lot faster. You've got to breathe them a lot more. They've nerfed the speeds down on them too. They don't go as fast as they used to. Now, the only exception to that still being the K&N car, being the fastest plate track car. I think the fastest I've gotten one up to was about 204 in the draft, but that was with at least 15 other cars with me. It killed the Highline group for the K&N. So it'll be interesting next week, because with this series here, we alternate between the trucks, the K&N. So what we see this week isn't necessarily going to dictate what we see next week, seeing how the K&N series is fixed. And I know that they run a league set for Daytona and then the fixed setup here at Talladega. That might change due to the fact that these vehicles handle very adversely now in the draft. So I think tonight the biggest thing to look at is to see who can stay grouped up behind somebody, and when they get 2 and 3 wide, see how the trucks interact and who's going to be the one that's going to be able to keep control under it and who's going to be more prone to having to back out and maybe filter towards the back just for their own safety.
Yeah, some of these guys are really going to have to see if they can play it out, use some patience, wait and see what the trucks do here. You know, with this new build, you never really know, and you never really know how it's going to be in the draft, and now everyone's going to react to it. You just got to use patience. Hopefully they take their time, but we do know this league, some of these guys, they're nuts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we kind of got hit with a double whammy on this one. Not only did we get a new setup, we also had a new tire build too. So that's two things to overcome now. Now the tires wear out a lot. Actually, there's three things. I forgot that they also changed the suspension geometry and the way that the weight distribution is on these, so they handle more like the real world counterparts. There's a lot more weight on the nose of the vehicles, so that's another thing to take into consideration. If the weight is shifted too far to the front, that's going to make the truck light in the rear, so there's where aero comes into play. You get a truck behind you or trying to side draft you, and you've got too much weight ballast pushed forward, that's going to make you extremely ass happy, and the draft's going to play into that. And also, now that they have an accelerated wear on the tires, or as they claim, a more realistic wear on the tires, your tire wear and your weight ballast, that comes into major effect with the draft now too. So there's a lot of variables that these guys have been thrown, and literally they had a week to get something decent thrown together here. But we've seen that you don't really need to have the best setup as long as you can hold the draft. But as we saw during the All-Star race, some drivers had killer setups. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do now that they had to start from scratch. You see a truck grilling some chicken down there. Shouldn't say chicken because I got a big plate of meatloaf and baked potatoes. So we are now under a minute here in practice, and then we will advance straight into qualifying. It should be 5 minutes and 2 laps. See who can set the pole here at Talladega. Take a quick look at the weather before we do switch over. 64, might as well say 65 degrees. Track temp is 90, and we have 55 degrees of humidity and humility probably. Now, if for some reason I should have to pop up the venue, y'all know that Talladega is 2.66 miles. It's the largest super speedway on the NASCAR circuit and undoubtedly one of the fastest, if not the world center of speed, even though Daytona claims to be that. So as we finish up the server here, we're going to advance into qualifying, and let's see who snags that pole tonight. I think there's another thing that we can see a prime example of too also that has been affected by the new build is Trading Paints seems to be having issues not loading all the drivers' paint schemes in. Luckily for us, we have the majority of the field, but there's I think about 3 or 4 trucks, including the 16 right there of Chris Brown, who is showing a iRacing default paint scheme, but hopefully that'll get ironed out here. Take a look there at the 1 of Artie Peterson Jr. The 8 there of Dana Osborne as he makes his way out on track. 54 of Chris Akers. Yeah, I'm all by myself tonight, Seth. Alan is working on his car. Actually, I'm not by myself. I've got Mike with me, so I'm not alone. So as these drivers are completing their outlaps here, we're going to wait and see what the first time to come in is going to be and who's going to be sitting on the pole. All right, so the first times are starting to come in, and right now the 66 of Bobby Tinch, the 53.406. Right behind him, the 16 of Chris Brown with a 53.782. If you look at the 78 there of Daniel Jackson. And Paul Savant is going to move up to second in that number 3 truck with a 53.713. Now we have a new driver up front, the 7 of Mark Johnson. And now the 26 of Daniel Holloway with a 53.199, and Bobby Tinch again back up there with a 52.879. It didn't take these guys that long really to figure out how to set the truck up that much. Bobby up there with the pole right now. Now the 3 of Paul Savant with a 52.817. That's going to be the pole time. See the 2 of Rick Seabrand's moving up to 3rd, the 8 of Dana Osborne 4th, the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach 5th. Alright, so pretty much everybody done with their laps here. We're going to go ahead and ask everybody to please rise and remove your hats as U.S. Army Marching Band comes out to bring us our national anthem. Alright, beautiful job as always, and that will lead us tonight into the starting lineup. On pole we have the 3 of Paul Savant with a 52.817. Starting outside of him will be the 66 of Bobby Tinch with a 52.879. Rolling off 3rd tonight will be the 2 of Rick Seabrand. Starting outside of him in 4th will be the 8 of Dana Osborne. Rolling off 5th tonight, the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach. Raymond Rittenhauer in the 87 will roll off 6th. Daniel Jackson in the 78 will start 7th tonight. The 4 of Justin Levine will be your 8th place starter. Sawyer Ott in the 35 will roll off 9th, and Daniel Holloway will round out the top 10 in that 26 truck. Artie Peterson Jr. in the 1 will roll off 11th. Mark Johnson in the 7 will start 12th tonight. 13th goes to the 16 of Chris Brown. Gary Champion will start 14th. Jimmy Coleman in the 48 starts 15th tonight. Jim Peterson in the 58, and also the Homes Now sponsor here for the series will roll off 16th. 17th goes to the 54 of Chris Akers. Dwayne Cooper in the 00 18th. Earl Arts Jr. 19th in the 61. Rounding out the top 20 is going to be the 9 of Matthew Almany. 21st goes to the 80 of PGA O'Leary. 21st goes to Eric Knakes in the 21 and 22nd spot. Gregory Thompson in the 88 will roll off 23rd. Thomas Labar in the 99 will start 24th. And rounding out the field will be the 97 of Jeremy Funk in 25th. As they get ready here to get this race started, we're less than 3/4 of a lap away here from taking the green flag. It's going to be interesting to see what these drivers do here on the opening laps of this race. All right, so 25 trucks starting here tonight. How many are going to be there at the finish? They do have one quick fix, but that is pretty much your only lifeline. So if and when the big one happens, well, more like when the big one happens, because it seems to always come to play here at a play track, who's going to make it and who is going to have to be forced to use their quick repair and then ride around literally on a pincushion. And of course, being that we have the Fox cameras here, it's only appropriate that we start this thing off with the Crank It Up camera. So as we get ready to take the green flag here, you guys can enjoy nothing but pure awesomeness that is these NASCAR Camping World Trucks. Pace car is getting ready to dive off. He's headed down pit road right now. We're about ready to take the green flag.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. We are live here at Talladega. As we pull off the Fox cam, we can see here out front we've got the 2 of Rick Seabrands as he is controlling that bottom line. On the outside, that'll be the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer as they go into turn 3 here. Let's take a look at some of the speeds here. Right now, through the corner, about 194 miles an hour. we're probably going to see maybe about 200 out of these trucks. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but it should be possible. As we see 196, and that outside line doing fairly well as they're going to cross the line pretty much together, but give that lap to the number 2 of Rick Seabrand, so the inside with just a slight advantage there. So as they came into turn 3 there, I didn't see any 200 miles an hour, but still 196 is pretty fast for these trucks, given the circumstance that they're in right now. RPM wise, we're sitting right around 8,500. Oh, it sucks to hear that, Rodney. So there we go. We can see the tach lighten up red there as they go into 3. It's like these trucks are just about getting up to red line, but they can't quite make it and stay there yet. Mainly probably because they still have, this only being lap 4 coming to lap 5, they've got a heavy fuel load. As these trucks tend to lighten up, we should see the RPM bar stay in the red a little bit more. That time we saw 198, so they're getting up there. We might actually see over 200 miles an hour here as these trucks start to burn some of the fuel off. And we've got our first 200 going into turn 3 here, so it didn't take long. 5 laps and these guys are already up to 200 miles an hour. At the line this time, it's going to be the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer leading that one. As he's going to drop down to the bottom, he clears the 2 of Rick Seabrand's. Now that'll open the door for the 4 of Justin Levine. He's the first truck there on the outside line. See, pretty much the first 3 rows double file are kind of sticking nose to tail here. Definitely outside as we see now. The 4 is going to drop to the inside, which is going to leave the 7 of Mark Johnson, first truck on the outside, followed by the 18 of Gary Champion and the 3 of Paul Servant. And at the line, it's going to be the 7 of Mark Johnson leading that lap as he's going to clear the 4 and drop to the bottom. So I think this is what we're going to see. We're going to see a repeat cycle here of the outside line getting pushed up and then one driver dropping down. Mainly, I'm thinking early on just to keep the outside line cool, because we know that you can recycle this over and over and over again. That, especially with 100 laps, it's not going to hurt to drop back a few spots, get back out there in the outside lane, get pushed back up to the front, and drop down. We've seen it time and time again, and it's actually pretty beneficial. That way you get multiple people leading. It's a little bit easier on the driver that way, that they're not going to try and make too crazy of a move, especially early on in the race. We see the outside line there having to check up just a little bit. But that lap going to the 18 of Gary Champion, so once again the outside line was faster. It appears that the 7 and the 4 are both teammates. They're running the same paint scheme, so I'm going to interpret that as teammates. They aren't teammates, but ironically, they are running the same paint scheme on 2 totally different vehicles. One's in a Toyota, and one is in a Chevrolet. That would be the Gray Ghost Dale Jr. paint scheme. But as they come to the line here, it's going to be the 18, nope, the 7 of Mark Johnson that time, so slight advantage to the inside line. And we are 3 wide here as we go into turn 3 here. We got the 3 and the 66 up top along with the 54. The 18, the 2. Oh, this is going to be good as they come across the line here. We're still 3 wide as we go into turn 1 and 2 here. So right now, still 2 trucks committed there to the outside as we're still 3 wide. I think they're trying to back off a little bit though and regather down into the lower line, but right now they still have the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach and the 54 of Chris Akers. They're going to try and filter down, but they cannot do it, so for the time being, the 3 of Paul Servant. Oh, we see Bobby Tinch is able to get down there, so the 3 is out there by himself, but I think he's going to have a little bit of help there from the 54s. Meanwhile, seems the outside line has kind of dissolved a little bit as the 18 of Gary Champion is down there on the low line. You can see there the 00 Dwayne Cooper 3rd truck there on the high side, or as Alan likes to call it, the upside line. I gotta say as many Alanisms as I can, seeing how he's not here tonight. We see the 00, he's up there in the 3 wide mix as they come up on some lap traffic. But right now we've got the 4 of Justin Levine and the 2 of Rick Sebrands working together there up front. First 2 trucks on the outside as we're looking at the 26, the 7, the... Well, we switched cameras. But this is all inside the top 10 here. These guys are doing a great job. 12 laps in so far, and I don't want to jinx it. No incidences yet. I haven't even seen anybody really drift up, get out of control, really. These guys are doing a great job for only having a week to get their setup together here. Now we're starting to see a little bit of rattlesnake in there on the backstretch. Now we see the 3 and the 50 or 66 wanting to go up to that top side again. You see there's a pretty good gap there between the 35 of Sawyer Ott and the 18, but he's able to close that hole up pretty quick as now we are 3 wide once again. Rick Sebrands in that 2 Jack Daniels truck still holding the lead down at this point. And the 3 wide has dissolved as this pack has decided to go back, but nope, they're going to try it again as they make the run down the backstretch. Now once again at the line, it will be the two of Rick Sebrands leading another lap here as we are now on lap 15. You can see that this front pack has pretty much distanced themselves from the rest of the field here. We've got probably the top 12, top 15 sitting right here in this one big group here. And that time at the line, give it to the 18 of Gary Champion. He's able to lead the lap that time. He's going to drop down in front of the 2 and clear him, so that will put the 18 of Gary Champion first truck there on the inside. So we see the 4 there of Justin Levine and the 29 of Matthew Welzenbach, or 26 of Daniel Holloway. I may be a little dyslexic. We're still 3 wide. We got the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer, the 3 of Paul Servant, and the 66 of Bobby Tinch there on the high line.
Those guys might want to think about dropping down. They got some live traffic ahead.
We see the 66 has done so. As we do see there are 2 trucks there on the bottom lane that they're going to be coming up on. And the lappers will go to the high side. Right now the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer looking for a hole to get into because he is still on the outside line. He's able to drop down, so everybody should be able to make it through here no problem as they'll go through double file. So no contest this time. Once again, it'll be the 18 of Gary Champion leading that lap. Right now we are looking at 10th spot. That is the 35 of Sawyer Ott. Right now he needs to get up there a little bit more. Actually, he's fine now because he's got the lap traffic and a few trucks behind him. Looked like he was going to be in danger of falling off of the draft, but that is not going to be the case as the outside 2 trucks are still challenging for the lead here. But at the line, once again, it will be the 18, so score another for Gary there. You can see pretty much everybody now running single file for the most part, aside from the 2 trucks running up front there on the outside line. We'll probably see some drivers shifting in and out.
I gotta say, Art, this is the most behaved race I've ever seen Cyberman.
You know, I was just going to say that. Hats off to these drivers for having to overcome the obstacles that iRacing has thrown at them this week with having to come set up as we see some pit stops starting to take place here. 3 trucks branching off right now. But yes, this is definitely hats off to these guys for keeping it very well behaved, very, very orderly, seeing how they literally had to start from scratch. So now everybody's single file. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more green flag pit stops happening here within the next couple laps. And we have a mass exodus on pit road here as all the lead pack is coming down. This is going to be interesting. 3, 4, 5 wide as they're making their way into pit road here. Great job by the guys all getting their trucks blowed up before they made it down on pit road. Nobody making contact with each other. And hopefully we get to show off some of the animated pit crews here. As we see the 8 there of Dana Osborne, he looks like overshot his pit a little bit. You see the 80 and the 58 coming in. This is still green flag racing here, and we just saw literally about the top 15 come in and pit. So right now your current race leader is being scored as the 4 of Justin Levine. As these guys make their way back onto track, they're going to get back formed up and up to speed here, where you see the 35. There's the 18 of Gary Champion. He was the race leader at the time they came down pit road. Right now he's being scored in 8th. We'll wait until everybody cycles around at least once before we do a run through here of the top 20. So now as things start to shake out, up front it's going to be the 35 of Sawyer, the 4 of Justin Levine, 2nd, and 26 of Daniel Holloway, 3rd, Mark Johnson, the 7, 4th, the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer, 5th, 00 Dwayne Cooper, 6th, Paul Servant in the 3, 7th, 18 of Gary Champion in 8th, the 54 of Chris Akers, 9th. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 66 of Bobby Tinch, Artie Peterson Jr. in the 1, 11th, the 61 of Earl Arts Jr. 12th, Jim Peterson in the 58, 13th, 14th goes to the 2 of Rick Seabrands, the 97 of Jeremy Funk 15th, PJ O'Leary in the 80, 16th, the 48 of Jimmy Coleman 17th, Eric Connects in the 21, 18th, the 78 of Daniel Jackson 19th, last truck on the lead lap, and then rounding out the top 20 will be the 8 of Dana Osborne. First truck 1 lap down. So we see some damage there to the left front of the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer. That might have been some pit road contact there, but it seems that as long as you got trucks behind you pushing, to me, I personally would want to drop in behind another truck having nose damage, but it doesn't really seem to be slowing down the bottom line there too much. But if those outside trucks start passing and clearing, I might start thinking about dropping behind somebody else. That way you maximize the aero there, because that bottom line is going to suffer from having a truck that's got some damage on it. You're not able to split the air as cleanly as you would with a good truck, as we see the 00 there of Dwayne Cooper right on the back bumper of him. So while these guys are still green flag racing, we're going to go ahead and crank it up again so you guys can get some awesome audio here. right, as we come back to the regular Fox camera here out front, it is the 4 of Justin Levine now. He is being scored as your leader. The 7 of Mark Johnson right now being scored second. You can see the 00 up there on the outside line trying to push the 35. We see the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer up there as well as the 26 of Daniel Holloway. That right there is 9th place as him and Bobby Tinch are trying to exchange positions there. Right now, this lead pack here is doing an amazing job staying off of each other in the spots where bumping is not necessarily your friend and holding the lines. We see the 16 there, that is a lap truck. He's going to stay high. Looks like he might have made a little bit of contact with the outside wall there, getting up out of the way for the lead guys as we are 3 wide again. The 35 of Sawyer Ott gets pushed to the outside. As meanwhile, it's a battle of the gray ghosts here. We've got the 7 of Mark Johnson and the 4 of Justin Levine. As they cross the stripe this time, it will be the 7 of Mark Johnson leading that lap. Looking at it right now, that's his 3rd lap led of the race. Justin with 5. Sawyer with 4. Raymond Rittenhauer's got 1. Rick Sebrands with 6.
Looked like Dwayne was getting a little bit hot there.
Yep, so he goes up to the high side, and the 18 of Gary Champion's going to go with him there. Saw a little bit of sparks there, too, from that 18 machine. I don't know if he got up there and might have tail slapped the wall a little bit. Because now these trucks have been behind each other. Oh, we got a caution.
There better be some real fucking problem out there to throw the damn caution.
So we are now under our first caution of the race. Comes out on lap 30. And word is that that was a competition caution thrown. There was not an actual wreck on the track here. That was an admin thrown caution, so I believe this is to get everybody bunched back up together, because we did see that the lead pack had a huge gap on the rest of the field. So I think this is just an attempt to try and get everybody gathered back up and make it a little bit more competitive. But while we are under caution, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with the action. Alright, we are back, and pit stops are pretty much coming to a completion here. I think, Mike, isn't this the first time we've ever seen a competition caution thrown?
Yeah, I think so, but it's a great idea. You know, you can maybe make adjustments and get your car to where it needs to be, because like you said in the pre-race and throughout this race, you don't know what these things are going to do yet with this new build.
That, and after the first round of green flag pit stops, there was a huge distance between the lead pack and the rest of the field. So I could see the benefit of throwing this caution to get everybody brought back up. So, and the other interesting thing that happened while we were under commercial break, we saw the entire lead pack sitting at the entrance to pit road. Apparently they had to wait for the pace car to catch up, so it was kind of odd and a little bit surreal to see all those trucks just patiently sitting there waiting to get on pit road, and then pace car goes by, they all start peeling down pit road for their pit stops. We see wave-bys going around. We see the 18 and the 26 both rocking the Save the Tatas paint scheme. I think I actually got a win in the C-Class series with my Save the Boobies Silverado. See the drivers all sitting down low, so there still might be some wave-bys that we were waiting on. So we see more trucks coming down pit road. All right, now it's starting to make a little bit of sense here. The pit road glitch that people have been experiencing all week is still not patched from iRacing yet. They're probably going to wait till after week 13 is over when they roll out their first patch. So a couple drivers there getting the pit road glitch, so that's going to be a big factor as to why the caution was thrown as well. So out front, it is still the 4 of Justin Levine. Behind him, the 3 of Paul Savant, the 66 of Bobby Tinch in 3rd, 18 of Gary Champion 4th, 26 of Daniel Holloway 5th, Sawyer out in the 35 6th, 54 Chris Akers 7th, Artie Peterson Jr. 8th, Rick Seabrand's 9th, and the 61 of Earl Arts Jr. is going to round out the top 10 right now. So pull it up right now, quick summary of what we've seen so far. We've got 31 laps in the books out of 100. We've had 13 lead changes, 1 caution for 2 laps so far. So do we see the lights on the pace car go out this time by? Nope, we will stay under caution for at least 2 more laps. Let's ride on board with our current race leader. You can see right now he's got that clutch pulled in. Imagine a lot of these drivers are going to be sitting down here on this bottom line and number one, keeping the tires cooler and clutching their trucks to save as much fuel as possible. Now, depending on what setup you're running, it could be an easy job doing this. Say if you're on G27 or G29 or some Thrustmaster pedals. I know for me with my V3s, pushing in that clutch requires a little bit of effort, so holding it down for a while kind of does suck doing it repeatedly. It's almost like driving a FedEx truck in traffic with an old ragged out 5-speed in it.
Maybe you should get some stronger legs.
Maybe I should. I don't use my left leg that much. You see some drivers opting to come down pit road. The 35 of Sawyer out and the 54 of Chris Akers. Do believe we will see one to green this time by it, as they shot down there pretty quick, so I believe we're trying to get it on 2 to green. As the lights on the pace car are out, we will double the field back up here and we will restart this race on lap 35. So once again, hats off to these drivers. Nothing has happened yet. I'm going to cross everything that I can cross, knock on every piece of wood I can. They've done an amazing job keeping off of each other. The only reason we are under caution is due to the pit road glitch happening, so just to get the field back together and to correct it for the drivers that suffered the glitch. So everybody's still in this race right now. There's 25 trucks. Everybody on the lead lap from what I can see. The 4 of Justin Levine is going to be leading us into the restart zone. I think the key thing to note on this restart here is behind the 4, we have the 66 of Bobby Tinch. On the outside, we've got the 3 of Paul Servant, but we also have the 18 of Gary Champion. Both those trucks and those drivers really, really know how to push around these tracks. So this restart, although it is controlled by the 4 truck, watch after the green flag drops to see who's going to have the tactical advantage, whether it's going to be the 66 of Bobby Tinch or the 18 of Gary Champion. So as the pace car is getting ready to drop it off, we're going to go back into crank it up again. Green flag is back out. We are back racing lap 35 of 100 here at Talladega with the Cyber Racing Association Homes Now Super Speedway Series. Alright, so as we go back to the regular Fox cameras, after a few laps there under Crank It Up, we've got the number 3 of Paul Servant out front. Second goes to the 18 of Gary Champion, and Justin Levine cycled back to third. The 66 of Bobby Tinch, who we saw strong on the restart, is now back into 5th spot. Meanwhile, we're looking at the battle for 10th on back as the 48 of Jimmy Coleman. Now, we still have a long way to go in this race. So I'm wondering if some of these guys are still holding back and we're going to see some of the more aggressive moves later on. Starting to see trucks shifting around here from the low side to the high side. So we've got the 54 strung out. They're 3 wide right now. The 97 there of Jeremy Funk. He's going to get hung out there, but the 54 was hung as well. So they're still 3 wide as they're going to come across the line. This time we see the 54 is able to drop down. 97 is going to be able to move up, so that should fix everything. As we take a look up here at the front, we got the 4 of Justin Levine rallying back there on the outside. He's got the 18 of Gary Champion and the 26 of Daniel Holloway with him. See the 18 stepping out to breathe it just a second there. I think this is what we're going to see being the key thing here as these trucks stay too wide. We're going to see a lot of breathing going on, as you see Gary's doing it right there before going into the corner. A lot of us do it just to be able to get a look. If we're on the inside line, we'll drop down a little bit before the corner just to see where the yellow line is, because with these trucks, when you're right up against the bumper, well, prime example, let's go on board with the 66 of Bobby Tinch, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. When you're riding right along behind these guys, you can't really see anything but the tailgate and the rear spoiler. So sometimes you've got to dip down a little bit on entry to make sure that you're not going to put those left sides below the apron, as he's doing right there on the backstretch to cool it off, and then right back onto the rear bumper of the 3 truck. But sometimes we back off a little bit just to get a peek and make sure that we're not going to go below the line. On it. Meanwhile, in the back, we are 3 wide, and there's trucks moving and shaking all over the place here. Now this is 13th on back here. The 54 right there, that is your 13th place truck. Everything on back is the tail end of the field. They're starting to get a little bit more organized now. We look back up front, it's still a battle now between the 18 of Gary Champion, as we see the 4 of Justin Levine has been able to clear the 3 of Paul Servant, so that will give Justin that lap. As now the 18 of Gary Champion and the 7 of Mark Johnson are going to try and rally their way up on the outside and clear the leaders. There was a good shot of both the packs, the lead pack and then the tail end pack. That time at the line, it'll be the 3 of Paul Servan. That'll bring him up to 7 laps led. Justin with 13. Now we see the 4, the 18, and the 7 there as well. We've got a couple additional trucks coming up from the back now. The 29 of Matthew Welsenbach. As it appears we're... Oh, a little contact there, but he was able to save it there. That could have been catastrophic. So, you know, that could have taken out the entire lead pack, but no harm, no foul. You can see the 66 of Bobby Tinch still leaning on that bumper, the 3 truck. So you see the 35 there of Sawyer Ott. Right now he is being shown in 22nd position. I do believe he's having a little bit of connection issues there, so he might be dropping to the back as we saw him blink out there for a second. So right now we've got dueling paint schemes there on the outside row. We've got the dual gray ghosts, and then we've got the dual save the Tatas. All right, now the 3 has got nowhere to go. He's got trucks on both sides of him as the 3 wide coming to the line here. And at the line, it'll be the 4, Justin Levine, leading that one from all the way up top. As right now we've got, looks like the 18 and 26 decide they want to jump in down on the middle line. That's going to make it 3 wide, 3 deep. So the 18 and the 26 are teammates, unlike the 4 and the 7. Now we also have the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach and the 8 of Dana Osborne joining the middle groove here as the 3 of Paul Servant's going to drop back down to the bottom in front of the 66. But we are still 3 wide as they come out of turn 4 here to complete lap 47. Oh, and we see the 7 there bailed on the 4, so that's going to leave the 4, Justin Levine, there on the high side until he can drop back in behind. And Justin's going to do a double lane switch there. He's going to go all the way from the top straight down to the bottom side. Now he's going to drift back up top again. Meanwhile, Gary Champion right there on the outside. He is charging his way up to the front. Gonna be a close race this time by at the line. It looks like once again we were about to go 3 wide, but thankfully they thought better of it. Right there you can see on the backstretch, the 18 and the 26 just get so much of a run going into that corner there, as the 18 is going to drop down. It's going to leave his teammate out there, first truck on the outside. So Daniel Holloway has been separated from his teammate, the 18 of Gary Champion, as he's going to drop down. And now we're going to see the 29 of Welsenbach and the 8 of Osborne. They're going to try and make it 3 wide on the outside there to get around them. As they easily clear him. You see a little bit of damage there on the right rear of the 8 of Dana Osborne, but does not seem to be affecting the speed. As you see the run that they are getting there on the outside, it just goes to show that at least they didn't kill the high line being the fast lane, if you know what you're doing here. So we see Welsenbach, Osborne, Holloway, and Levine up there on the top side. As we see people starting to break off for pit stops, we got the 66 of Bobby Tinch, the 1 of Artie Peterson Jr. We've got the 2 of Rick Seabrands and the 21 We get a look there of the 58 of James Peterson. Right now he's being scored in 14th. In front of him, the 80 of PJ O'Leary, as they're trying to make a move around the 9 truck. We see more drivers bearing down for their third round of pit stops here. Second round of green flag pit stops. That is the 48 there, Jimmy Coleman. Meanwhile, out front is the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach leading. Dana Osborne in the 8th, second. Gary Champion, the 18, third. The 4 of Justin Levine in 4th. The 7 of Mark Johnson will round out the top 5. As we should start seeing more and more drivers making their way down pit road, as we are under 50 laps to go here, so we are past halfway. Be 48 this time by at the line. Let's see who's going to break off. We got Welsenbach coming down. Looks like the 8 of Osborne. We got the 3 of Servant. See some drivers locking up. We got the 61 as well. He's going to come down and take his green flag stop. So that will hand the race lead over to the 18 of Gary Champion for the time being. As he is being pushed there by the 4 truck of Justin Levine. We see there the 48, they are just now coming back up to speed after their second green flag round of pit stops. Now we see the 7, the 18, and the 4 all coming down. And I do believe we also have the 26, yep, 26, so both teammates down on pit road there. Everybody's making their way to their pit stalls here. That right now will put the lead to the 58 of Jim Peterson. Right now he is sitting all by himself with a 19-second lead and growing, but sitting lone duck kind of really isn't the thing. I probably just stay out to lead 1 lap to get the point for it. So we'll see what the 58 does here, as he is going to come down pit road this time. So leader pit road. Meanwhile, we get a look here at the 18 of Gary Champion as they come by that will recycle the 18 back to the lead. The 7 there of Mark Johnson and the 4 of Justin Levine directly behind him. Behind that we have the 1 of Artie Peterson Jr. and the 66 of Bobby Tinch. They're going to go to the high side along with the 2 of Rick Seabrands. So it's going to be 3 on 3 here. You see the 1 thought about dropping down, but still kind of not really making up his mind. He's got it cleared. I know he's trying to bring the 66 with him, but he's going to drop down. And now he's going to go up. There was 3 wide. That was a little bit of a dicey move there. So now the 1's going to get split by the 66, the 2, the 18, the 7, and the 4. Now 2's going to drop back in and pick him up. That was a little bit dicey there.
Yeah, it was almost like the 18 did not want to push that 1.
I think it's starting to come down to a battle of setups now. Who's got ones that are good short run setups, ones that are good long run, but everybody just pitted, so maybe some of them take longer for the tires to come in and the truck to really handle better. It's just, we're still sitting a huge bit of unknown, seeing how literally they've had such a short time to get these setups built so that they could run tonight. So definitely we'll probably see throughout the week a lot of hosted sessions going up so that people can work on their setups, or people doing it in their private time. As we pull up a quick summary here, we've got 56 laps in the books, 26 lead changes, 1 caution for 4 laps, and that was a admin thrown caution. Our current race leader is the 18 of Gary Champion right there. Now we see the 66 there of Bobby Tinch. He's going to try and get a little side draft action going on here as they come out of turn 2. He's got the 1 and the 2 truck behind him. That'll be Artie Peterson Jr. and Rick Seabrands. Meanwhile, the bottom line will be Gary Champion, Mark Johnson, Justin Levine, Dana Osborne, and Paul Servant. You see the trucks on the bottom line, they're getting a little bit of a push there off of turn 2. Okay, now things have just gotten a hell of a lot clearer. When we had the caution at lap 30, I forgot that they stage race. So we should be seeing a caution coming out here in another couple laps, and it'll end stage 2.
Caution's out.
There it is.
Talk me through your lap one time real quick.
So hand that stage win over to the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Now it makes sense. We saw that 1 caution come out. We thought it was because of the pit road glitch. Totally forgot that these guys stage race. All right, so as everybody gathers up behind the pace car here, we're going to see people coming down either to take, well, the strategy right now would be to come down, seeing how we are going to be kicking off the final stage here. Come down, get 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods and a full tank of fuel. Right now, as RTBO has to catch up out front, it's showing Bobby Tinch the leader, but obviously it's showing on the leaderboard that the 18 of Gary champion is the leader. So it's the only thing that I hate about RTBO is that it does have a little bit of a delay, and I can't believe I absolutely forgot. Of course, then again, that is what happens after 2 weeks of not broadcasting. You do forget things. I mean, hell, I can be lucky to go 3 or 4 days. You know, Mike, I think I've stumbled on a theory. I think that what this is, what we're seeing, is not just a combination of setups, but I think it's more so a setup of strategy right around in the back. Since they're stage racing, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, you get the point, you get points for winning these stages, but what's the most important lap to lead here?
Always the last one.
I think now that we're into the final stage of the race here, we're going to see a lot more action and potentially, possibly our first actual caution.
It seems like, though, there's a group of these guys that have it figured out already. It's like the 18, the 7, the 4, the 26, the 1, the 66, and those guys have seemed to be working together the whole race. And wherever one of them goes, the other one seems to go, and they just keep trading back and forth. And they were the ones that have been breaking out the most, pitting together. That might be their strategy. You know when you got someone that's good, and you know who you want to work with.
Well, it's definitely an advantage there. Basically doing the leapfrogging, as we refer to it like if we were running CTSVs or DW12s or the Pro Mazdas, you really can't do anything other than leapfrog. Maybe they're adapting that type of racing style here just to stay out there, since they have been able to work really well together. We haven't seen any contact really. We've seen a couple sketchy moments, but nothing that really raised a red flag or imminent danger. But I think you're right. I think these guys here are they're just humping it out right now, trying to get the laps logged, as many of them green. That way when it's down to go time, we're going to see who is still going to work with their teammate and who's going to start making some of the ballsier moves here. And the other advantage here too is they're running an open set versus next week we'll be back with the K&N car running a fixed setup. So it's going to be a lot more close-quartered racing, and that's where we tend to see more of our big wrecks, because everybody's on the same playing field, versus tonight where it comes down to not only driver skill but what you've set your vehicle up to do.
Yeah, it really seems like there's a group of guys that haven't figured out already, and that's the pack that always seems to break away. And the other guys, you know, we don't know for sure, but they could be running iRacing default sets, and that plays a big factor.
And it definitely could define why we're seeing all these different packs. But one thing I know for sure is now that we are in the final stage, I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive racing going on. And I don't expect that front pack to lay up any at all on this restart. And possibly a lot of the ones that are backpacking right now, we might see them start getting their field orders and marching towards the front.
Yeah, there's a car I'm looking forward to watching now. I just saw him make his way back up to the front, the 00 Dwayne Cooper. You know, he always puts on a good show, and it's always exciting to see what he will do, because he is absolutely crazy.
He's not afraid to take it 4 wide here, that's for damn sure. I've watched him do it several times. Hasn't always worked out for him, but at least he's not afraid to do it.
Should we have Alan call him real quick and give him a curse?
I don't know. I think just mentioning him, period, is enough of a curse, even though Alan did it last time and Dwayne won a stage. So I think he might have broke that one finally. Who knows what they do in Texas, man. They got some of that weird voodoo shit from Louisiana that carries over. Let's see the 58 there. Jim Peterson, he's going to go down pit road, which means this is going to be the 2 to green. We're going to see the field coming and bunching back up. Alright, so lights are out on the pace car. We're going to double them up here. Going through the top 10 here, we got the 66 of Bobby Tinch, who's going to lead us off on this restart. Outside of him, the 18 of Gary Champion. Third, the 7 of Mark Johnson. Justin Levine, fourth, the 00. Oh, well, it's going to change around a little bit as Dwayne's down on the apron, messing all my stuff up. Thank you, Dwayne. Justin Levine, fourth. The 26 of Daniel Holloway, fifth. Artie Peterson Jr., 6th, Dwayne Cooper, 7th, Thomas Labar, 8th, Eric Connects, 9th, and PJ O'Leary is going to round out the top 10 here. So looking at the field, we have every truck that registered for this race still in it. The only truck 1 lap down right now is the 88 of Gregory Thompson. 24 out of 25 trucks still on the lead lap. As the pace car makes its way through turns 3 and 4, once again, it will be dropping down on the pit road, and the 66 of Bobby Tinch is going to lead us to the restart with 36 laps remaining here at Talladega. Once again, for you guys just tuning in now, this is the Cyber Racing Association's Homes Now Super Speedway Series. And as always, as the pace car drops, we're going to go into Crank It Up.
Ready,
Green flag is out. 36 laps to go here at Talladega Motor Speedway. And it does appear that everybody is going to make it across the line as they get back up to speed here. As we see 3 wide. That's the 8 of Dana Osborne and the 3 of Paul Servant. Now this is a 90-lap race. There's 10 extra laps allocated for NASCAR overtime. That way they do have the time to do green-white checkers in the event that if they did one, as we see the 8 of Dana Osborne, he's in the wall there. That's going to slow up. Good thing that the 3 had some binoculars there as he was able to get the hell out of the way and not pile into the back. But it's still the 66 of Bobby Tinch out front. So you see a little bit of damage there on the left front of the 9 machine there of Matthew Almany. Right now he's being scored in 12th position. As we see the rest of the pack starting to close up. There's the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach, the 54 of Chris Akers, the 58 of Jim Peterson. Now, if they can stay in line like that, they're going to catch up to the lead pack like nothing. And this is where we're going to start seeing, if anything's going to happen, this is when we're going to start seeing it happening. You can see there, 29 and the 54 popped out to get a run on the 80. Right now, that will be beneficial to them for a position. It's not really beneficial as the group there. I would have waited a little bit later until everybody was a little bit closer to the rest of the field to do that, because now it's going to kind of stall out that backpack there and allow these guys to get ahead. But it all depends, once again, on the setup, as they're both able to clear O'Leary there in the 80. Now let's see if they can drag the rest of the field back up to the front here. So we see the 2 teammates of Champion and Holloway working together there on the outside. We see the 00, Dwayne Cooper. He's going to stick his nose there on the outside line. He wants a lap lead. Meanwhile, we're looking back at 11th. So that is your top 10 right there in the lead pack. Next truck behind them is 11th place, the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach. And at the line, it's going to be Bobby Tinch again with another lap lead. So give him 10 in the books. Right now, Gary Champion is still our lap leader with 16 lead. Next closest would be Justin Levine with 14. Then Paul Servant with 11. And then the 66 with 10. And if he can hold off that outside line, he will tie for 11 laps led. There'll be 30 laps to go this time at, well, 20 laps to go this time at the stripe. As we see him get 3 wide here. I don't know what happened there. Looked like somebody had to check up as we see the 80 almost making contact with the 99 there. Things are going to start getting dicey with 20 to go next time by. It looks like the 18 has been separated from his partner, so that's potentially, as we see a truck there on the wall, that is the 48. That's going to put Jimmy Coleman back to 23rd as of right now. They're 3 wide here mid-pack. You can see they're still 3 wide behind the lead pack here. Right now, the 18 is kind of sitting in a little bit of a precarious spot right now as he's got a go, and then we got a spin behind. There's the wreck. Caution is out.
Got you loud and clear. I don't know why you can't hear Earl. Can you hear me? Did not hear him call that caution. Need you to check your radio connection.
So we are now working our first official caution of the race as the entire field has to slow down
1, 2, 3,
to get the pace car here in turn 2.
10-4.
So we're going to go back and we're going to look at that wreck there. We're going to look at the 9 there of Matthew Almany. Let's see what happens here. Keep your eyes on that truck in the middle there, the Napa truck. Looks like he just drifts up a little bit, gets into the side of the 58, and ouch, he goes for a good little ride there. As we see the 58 of Jim Peterson, he is able to lock it down before hitting the wall, but motor's definitely detonated on that Napa. I think that truck needs some Napa know-how. We're taking an alternate look, too, from the 78's point of view, because he apparently had a really good view of that as it happened. So here we are riding with the 78 of Daniel Jackson. I love how when you click on a name in IRTBO, it throws the wrong damn person in. But caught it before it happened. Right in front is where the wreck's going to happen. There's the 9 truck to the inside, and there's the 58 directly in front. We see the contact. See him go around, contact with the 78. Did a great job holding on to that one. He's definitely going to have to come down and use his quick repair on that one. But great job not getting collected and turned around. And that's only going to be a, well, 3 trucks involved, but only 2 went around. So as we are on our first official caution of the race here, we are once again going to step away for a quick commercial break and return with the action in the closing laps here with Cyber Racing Association's Homes Now Super Speedway Series. Alright, so hopefully that's the only conflict that we see on track, and we get to race this one out with no overtime. We look up to the front of the field as we see the 18 of Gary Champion go down pit road. It is still the 66 of Bobby Tinch out front. So we'll go at least 2 more laps around before restarting this race. The lights are still on. It's going to be very interesting next week as we move over to the K&N car to see how different the racing is going to play out there, being a fixed set versus the open set here with the trucks. But if you guys like K&N Racing, not only do we cover this, we're going to be live tomorrow night with Die Hard Racing League as we go to Michigan International Speedway with the K&N cars. That's always a fun track, but it's going to be interesting to see how those cars do on all the tracks now, especially seeing how the setups have changed, the tire models changed, everything has changed on it. So it's definitely going to be still a learning curve. As our first race at Charlotte, we managed to put that one in the books caution free, so hopefully Michigan will be no exception. But that'll be tomorrow night at 7:20 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys want to come check that out, you guys are more than welcome to. Lights will be going out on the pace car. Hopefully this time by we can stack the field back up and get this race in the books. These drivers have got to be getting tired. They've been racing for over an hour and a half here, so now it's go time. Once this restart happens, you need to start making some moves. But we all know that the most important lap is the last lap, so it's still going to be a little bit of strategy, but you've got to stay competitive and inside that front group to be able to make that move if you want to do it at the end of the race. All right, so word is, if the yellow comes out on lap 89, they race it back, and that'll take the race. So as we look, the only truck that I see down any laps and not currently running would be the 9 of Matthew Allman. He's currently being scored 3 laps down, so they might have taken that 9 truck behind the wall, or he might have forgot to check his fast repair and he's sitting there taking all the damage. But it looks like that 9 machine is headed to Florida, which is not really that far of a hop. Actually, it's going to go back to Charlotte first. They're going to go get a new K&N car and head to Daytona for next week's race, as the 9 has officially retired from the race. So we still have 24 trucks remaining here in the field. They are all on the lead lap. It's still anybody's race to win. As the pace car gets ready to dive off the track down pit road, we're going to restart for hopefully the last time. And once again, as always, we're going to do this in style with the Crank It Up cam. We'll be restarting with 15 laps to go.
Green.
And we're back green. See a nice bump there from the 00. Let's hear those motors sing. And we are wrecking.
Save.
Big wreck,
save.
big wreck, big wreck. Big wreck there in turn 3 and 4. Appears this one is going to be brought out by netcode, but the curse lives on as it's between the 7 and the 00. So let's go ahead and go to the 00 and see what happened there. Keep your eyes peeled to the second truck there on the bottom line. That's the 00, and then the 7 there on his outside. We're actually going to go high up in the sky for this one. We're going into the blimp. Hi, Mike. How you doing in the blimp?
Doing pretty good up here.
And then we see the net code, and then we see everything ensue behind, as the 00 seems to make out just fine. We're going to go on board with the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach. So here it is from the restart. There's the 00 directly in front of him on the bottom line. We've got the 7 directly in front of him. And then the 26 there directly to his left. Now the wreck will happen as they come down here into turn 3 and 4, so this is going to be one hell of a view. There's the net code. As you can see in his rearview mirror, the field is stacking up behind him. So apparently iRacing still has not really fixed the netcode issue here, because that was bad enough that you could drive a semi-truck through. Those trucks weren't even close to each other. As you can see, there's no damage there on the 00. So out of all the things that we've gotten, like animated pit crews, it took 9 years to do that. Can we do something about the frickin' netcode? Oh wait, no we can't, because that would require iRacing to actually put in some work and go through and re-script the entire UI. Because the way that this works is, behind the scenes, some magical wizard is waving a wand that magically detects where every single car in the field is, or where it should be, and sometimes that wizard waves his wand in the wrong direction, or he's taking a whiz while he's waving his wizard wand, and that's where netcode comes from. So we are working our second caution of the race here. Now, of course, pulling up the summary, it will tell you differently because it does not count the segment ends. But in the summary, we've got 78 to be 79 laps completed here at Talladega. 31 lead changes, and this is only the second caution we're working for a wreck, but total 4 cautions for 14 laps and counting. You can see a little bit of damage there on the right rear spoiler there of the 00. Not too bad considering, I think he had that before the netcode happened. That happened way earlier on in the race. Let's ride on board with our current race leader, the 66 of Bobby Tins. Let's see if he's clutching it in any. And yes, he is. So these guys are definitely not planning on pitting at all. So fuel conservation is going to be a big thing here as we see the drivers rolling on the clutch here. Firing up just to catch back up to the pace car or the truck behind you, and then just rolling the clutch as long as you can. The longer you keep that pedal pushed in, the more fuel you save.
Yeah, these guys got to really worry. I mean, they can probably make all regulation, but if it goes to overtime, that could be a different ballgame.
Now we hope that it doesn't come to NASCAR overtime, but if it does, a lot of these guys may be potential sitting ducks. I know they've been patient for the majority of this race, aside from the two. Well, we can't count the last one because that was absolutely horrid netcode. I think the patience is going to run out here in the final laps here. Everybody's going to want to try and win it. So I think we're in for an interesting finish here. Hopefully we can get this one under a green flag. I don't care if the field's wrecking behind, but if we can at least get the field to cross the line at speed versus seeing Brett, Jeff, Todd, whoever the hell's in the pace car tonight, that'd be a great thing. As the last time we saw these trucks during the All-Star race, that was probably the most exciting out of the three. They had the K&N car, then we did an Xfinity, and then topped it off here at Talladega with the trucks. So hopefully we see a finish a little bit different than what we saw 2 weekends ago here at Talladega in the trucks, and once again they can run it out green.
It's going to be exciting. You got some fast cars in the back.
Yeah, that we do. So it's going to be anybody's ball game. It's going to be who's going to time this right and who can hook up with the right person and make those moves.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that were running up in the front are now in the back. You got the 26, you got the 18, you got the 4, the 7, and those guys, you know, they're fast. So it's it's gonna be interesting to see how well they can work right through that the traffic they got here, and you know, I expect the 26, the 18 to hook up. The 4 and the 7 have been working well together all day, so we'll see what happens here.
And we definitely have to keep eyes on that 00. He's restarting in second here, so see if Dwayne's got any magic or any of that Houston voodoo up his sleeve here for the end of the race here. As we get set, pace car's making its way through turns 3 and 4 now. It's going to dive down pit road, and we will restart with 10 laps to go. Now, I've got a feeling that we're not done seeing some action, so we're not going to do a crank it up on this restart. We're going to stick to the Fox, and we're going to see if anything materializes, good or bad, on this restart. As the pace car dives down, wow, Brett, you almost killed Bobby, but all right. So Bobby's going to lead us here into the restart zone again. An exceptionally long restart zone, seeing how the flag stand is out of the tri-oval.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. 10 laps to go here at Talladega. Who's going to bring it home? Right now we see the 3 of Paul Servant and the 00 Dwayne Cooper. Right now the 66, I don't know what happened there on the restart on the inside, but that's definitely going to hurt the 66s. Right now the 00 is clear. He is going to drop down in front of the 66, so that will cycle Dwayne to the lead. But we still have all these drivers here still in contention, as I don't think we're done seeing some juking and jiving here in these closing laps. See the 58, he gets pushed up high, so 16 is going to go with him, as we're going to be 3 wide going into 1 and 2 here. Haven't really seen the 97 of Jeremy Funk much all night, but here it is in the closing laps, and he's sitting up here inside the top 5. He is in 5th position right there in that 97 machine, as he is hooked up behind the 3 of Paul Servant. Now Bobby Tinch has got the run, and he's going to bring the 3 of Paul Servant with him. Those two trucks have been working very well with each other, so Dwayne was able to get his nose out there in the lead, but now the 66 and the 3 have reclaimed their spot around him. And we got another wreck.
Caution, caution.
The 3 involved, multiple trucks involved in this
water,
one.
Pressure, temperature right there.
97 of Jeremy Funk. As you see trucks still sliding around, a lot of drivers had to make evasive maneuvers there down on the pit road, as the field's going to have to check up pretty hard. Pace car's coming out. We're going to determine exactly what brought that one out. All right, so we're going to go to the 3 truck. It looks like he came up on the 97 of Jeremy Funk, so let's go ahead and get that one rolling here. Now keep your eyes peeled to that Oreo Chevrolet right there. As once again, we're going to go to blimp mode to watch this. You see the 97's that white truck there on the outside. See the 3. He comes up and he makes contact with the 97, and then we see the death ensuing behind, as the 97, I want to go on board with the 97 of Jeremy Funk, because he went for one hell of a ride. He went up and over. That was a Clint Boyer style wreck right there. We're actually going to do a cockpit with that one. Let's get to Jeremy here, riding in cockpit, and here it comes. So get ready for a wild ride here as we race down the backstretch. The wreck is going to happen coming out of turn 4 going into the tri-oval. Right here you see the run that they're getting on the outside. There's the 66 and the 3 clearing the 00. Now what you're going to see is the 3 drift up and cross over the nose of the 97 right here. Now watch the ride. As he gets clipped by a couple of vehicles, that's one hell of a ride to take right there. Good job locking it down. We're also going to go on board with the 58 too, because there's a good shot of that. So here we are once again. This is onto the backstretch. Once again, the wreck will be happening off of turn 4 in the tri-oval, so this is the event leading up to the wreck. I like to go back a little bit more each time to kind of paint the story and show the picture a little bit better. So there's the cross. Here it comes. So he had a piece of both of those trucks, but you got to see a great view there of the 97 just absolutely going Rocket Man there. So after watching that replay from the 58's view, that was one incredible job of wreck avoidance there. He did get a little tiny piece of it, but holy shit, that could have been a lot worse for the 58 of Jim Peterson. And to top it off, all that damage that was on that truck was already there. So amazing job by the 58 of Jim Peterson getting through that wreck.
And a straight up cold trickle moment.
Yes, it was. I wonder if he had Robert Duvall yelling in his ears to keep the hammer down. So the laps are definitely winding down here. All right, so we might see a 2-lap shootout here. You gotta wonder what's going on right now in the mind of Bobby Tinch right now as he's leading this thing. Only a few laps to go. Are the cautions done? Are we gonna go into overtime? And what is he gonna do to stop that 00? Because once again, Dwayne is gonna be on that outside line. And we saw last restart, somebody was sleeping on the inside behind the 66. He had no help through 1 and 2, and it wasn't until the backstretch where he actually had hook up with another truck, but that gave the run to the 00, so we can't have that happening again on this restart. Otherwise, the 66 might potentially lose this race because of that. We can see some heavy damage there on the 4 truck of Justin Levine. While we are working, hopefully, our last caution, we are going to cut to hopefully the last commercial break and wrap this race up. Alright folks, we're about a half a lap away from restarting this race with only a few remaining here. Still anybody's ball game. Are we going to see a last lap caution, which they're informed that if they take the white flag and the wreck happens, they're to race it out, but they've got to pass that overtime line. So the restart here, this is probably going to be the most important restart of your life. In other words, it's going to be a Jeff Gordon at Martinsville restart.
It's about to get crazy.
No, this shit's about to get real here. As we see on the back panel there, the 99 wrecked weekly. Is that a sign of things to come, or are we going to finish this one under a green flag? As the pace car drops off, this time he doesn't cut Bobby's nose off. He's going to lead us in the restart box. Let's see if that 21 sleeps on the restart. So I know everybody behind is not going to.
Green flag.
All right, green flag's out. Let's see what we're going to get here. Are we going to get a clean finish? Definitely a much better restart this time for the inside line as the 21, the 29, the 66 got the jump on the 00. We see the 29 of Matthew Welsenbach. He's going to jump to the outside line here. As we see the 35 of Sawyer up, make his way into the picture. We got the 2 of Rick Seabrands as well down there on the bottom. Up top we've got the 29 of Welsenbach, the 00 of Dwayne Cooper. Got the 1 of Artie Peterson Jr. This is going to end the race here, so all Bobby's got to do is hang on. Right now, that outside line is fighting, trying to get every position they can. And they're right on the back. They got to race this out. This is going to go in the books. They got to race to the line, so right now it's between the 66 and the 21 right here. We can't count out the 2 and the 99 either, but there's a little bit of a gap. Let's see, does the 21 stick behind as we see the 29 is bearing down real quick, so Bobby's got to do a lot of mirror driving here. As we see the 29 and, the 99 and the 2 going on the high side. 66, oh, and they're going to run each other up the track. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Bobby Tinch with the win. Hell of a finish there. So that's going to score Bobby Tinch the win, Rick Seabrands in the 2 second, and the 21. Actually, no, well, yeah. The 21 in third. That was one hell of a restart there, and we knew it was going to happen, but luckily they got to race it back to the line, and that was definitely a much better finish than we saw last week where the pace car led us to the end of the race here. But that right there was all in all, I'd say it was a pretty damn good display of driving, seeing how these guys had limited time to get their setups after iRacing completely boned everybody. Saw a lot of different strategies. We could definitely tell there's a lot of different setups. People are running faster ones, people running slower ones, and I've raced with Bobby a lot. He's definitely got a lot of skill as a wheelman. I've seen him rally back from being wrecked early on in a race to salvaging a top 3. I've seen him in his bad days, but then again, every driver gets that. But once again tonight, it's prevailed that not only did he win stage 2, he also brought it home tonight for the win. So the race is officially over. The pace car will stay out because these 10 laps are allocated for overtime, which, because they took the white flag and they wrecked after halfway, there will be no NASCAR overtime. That was game, set, match, race in the books. Alright, so what we have to do here is, because of the overtime and us not needing it, they do have to pace for 9 more laps. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our interviews here knocked out, and we're going to start with our 3rd place finisher, the 21 of Eric Connects. Alright, Eric, that was one hell of a race tonight. I know iRacing screwed everybody over with having to rebuild the sets with the new build, the new setups for the truck being obsolete, the old ones, the tire build. How much and how important was the tires and strategy tonight?
Oh, it was huge. You know, that last caution I came out with, took full gas and then just got saved fuel, and kind of where it put me into the position to where I finished. So yeah, worked out good.
Well, I know 2 weeks ago when we covered the All-Star race, we saw this same race pretty much end under caution. This time we got to race it out and we got to see one hell of a finish. You brought it home 3rd. Great podium finish. Is there anybody that you would like to thank?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for what you do, for sure. And I'd like to thank some of the people that has helped pushing me there to get the 3rd. I've had some bad luck, some bad stuff, but this feels good to be up here, finish 3rd. I'll take a 3rd. Hopefully, I can't remember where I was at in points, but hopefully it puts me close to getting for the chase and the top 15.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on that 3rd place, and we will see you next week at Daytona with the K&N cars.
Sounds good, guys. Take care. Thank you.
That was our 3rd place finisher. Now we are going to bring in Mr. Seabrands. All right, Rick, I know you guys got screwed with the setups, with the new build and everything. How important to you was tire wear, fuel management, and strategy for this race?
I tell you what, tire wear wasn't that big of a deal, but just strategy. You just want to be out front. It's, you know, with the new build, it was pretty hard to pass out here for the first time at Talladega in a while. It seemed like the outside line you had to work really extra hard to get a run and get momentum, but just couldn't be happier. We got into a little bit of an accident there and had to use up our quick repair late. We restarted, I think, 19th or 18th, and I thought we were going to be in trouble there. So super happy to get back up here and get a top 5 and move on to next week.
Walk us through that that last lap ordeal. I know all hell broke loose, and it was pretty much a 4-man tag team to see who was going to get the win there.
Well, for starters, just getting past that wreck on the backstretch was critical enough, and then got a little draft off the 66 and 21 there. And, Thomas gave me a pretty good shot there coming back, but by then the 66 and 21 had it figured back up, and just couldn't get to run on the outside there. But definitely something to build on for next time we take the truck to Daytona, and just hope we have a good piece for him there.
All right, well, congratulations on the second place. Is there anybody that you would like to thank?
Yeah, just thank Dwayne, the Homes Now series, for sponsoring this. This is a great thing that they do. It's a lot of fun, and everybody watching. It's been fun, and look forward to next week.
All right, we look forward to seeing what you do as we go to Daytona with the K&Ns next week. But once again, congratulations on that second spot.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, now we're going to bring in your race winner. Bobby, my man, you dominated that race. Not only did you win stage 2, you brought it home in victory lane. How does it feel?
Oh, man, it's great. I had to miss a couple races this year, and it kind of put me back in points. So I wasn't even in the chase at this point, so this one just put me in with a couple races to go.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked second and third. How important was the setup, the strategy, and tires, seeing how that we all got shafted due to the new build coming out?
Yeah, I mean, the tires didn't seem to matter a whole bunch. But I tested earlier this week, and the setup was gone. So I pretty much had to build a new setup, and I was kind of hoping and praying that it was going to work out.
Well, it definitely did, as you're going to bring it home with the win tonight. With that being said, is there anybody that you'd like to thank while you're under these pacing laps here to make it official?
I mean, Homes Now for putting up, sponsorship this year. Dwayne for putting the league on. I mean, it's a great group of guys. I mean, you've seen the night. I mean, the first 2 stages went green. I mean, some great racing. My pit crew, they were great tonight. Got me out front a couple times. And, of course, Eric there at the end, I mean, without him pushing me, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
That is, I think, probably the best thing we did see out of the new setup is that we did have 2 green stages, and then we all knew that towards the end of the race we were going to see cautions because people were going to get antsy and they were going to make moves. We saw some of the worst net coding possible, but in the end you brought it home. Look forward to hopefully interviewing you once again next week at Daytona in the K&N cars.
Oh yeah, I'm working on defending this championship. I'm coming out.
Green flag.
Well, once again, congratulations on the win, and we will see you next week.
Hey, thanks guys. Doing a great job up there.
All right, so they're going to just allow these guys to get the laps counted down faster so I can actually go through the official results. I think this is actually going to screw it up, seeing how most everybody's already off the track. So I can't guarantee that once this is done that the results are going to read 100% correct, but we do know the top 3 obviously coming home with stage 2 win and the ultimate win, the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Rick Seabrands brings it home second, and then the 21 of Eric Connects brings it home third tonight. So we're just going to watch these guys kind of run it out here because the results we're unfortunately not going to be able to give because IRTVO feeds off of real-time data. So with these guys running it out to the green flag, it's all kinds of jacked up right now. But if you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that, smash that subscribe button, as we will be live every Saturday night covering these guys as they rotate back and forth between the K&N car and the open trucks. And we're also going to be live all season with the Die Hard Racing League on Sunday nights as they take on their K&N series. It'll be race 2 at Michigan tomorrow night. Race will be live at 7:20 p.m. Central Time. So for all those tuning in, everybody here at Cyber Racing, Homes Now, and Die Hard TV, thanks for watching. And we're just going to let this thing run out.